Welcome back to Tommy's Tune-Ups. Today we're going to weld this plate on the back of the Elan, fix up some of these holes that are in the old tunnel. So got this 1/8 inch piece of plate from where I work. Thank you to the boss man for letting me pick that out of the scrap bin. But pretty much we're just going to weld a new plate on over top of this. We'll clean it all up. Just got like one of those rust remover wheels you can get at Canadian Tire on there. It'll work good enough for what we're doing. We'll strip this down and then weld her up. Before we weld the new plate on top, just got a quick measurement here. It's looking like it's about 29 inches to the center of that elongated hole, or what I can see. And that's from the front clip where the seat clips on back to the hole. And a rough guesstimate here, I'm going to say probably 9 1/2, 9 3/4 center to center. So somewhere in there. We're not shooting for perfect here. Just want it to be clean enough so we can get a good weld on there and knock most of the rust off where we're welding. I'm probably going to seal up the holes on the underside with silicone after I get the new plate welded on. We're all set up to weld here. I'm going to be running some E6013 on this just because it is some thin sheet metal. DC electro positive, and we're set up right now about 35 amps. So we'll set up, see how we go. was able to get this burned on there. Not too bad, not my best work, but it was pretty thin and it was starting to fall away on me. Couldn't really turn down the amperage that much. My machine doesn't go that low, and maybe I should have welded with 7018, but for what it's going to do, it's going to hold that seat on there just nice. And this is kind of a get it running, not necessarily get it right kind of affairs. But like I said, I'm going to silicone up the holes because there's some spots where it's just too thin to weld, and it's not really that critical. Got a quick coat of paint on there. Doesn't look too bad. Now I didn't go too crazy. I just kind of painted the top and down the side a little bit. I don't really want to repaint this whole thing. Just want it to be, you know, a little more sealed up so rust isn't going to continue to grow in there. I just used a rust paint from Canadian Tire and sealed up a couple of the other small pinholes with some silicone and called her a day. All right, we're back in action on the seat here. So the foams had a couple nights to dry out. It took a lot longer than I thought. There's a lot of water in there, but got that all squeezed out. Was able to get this, it appears to be a Bombardier part, but got that off and then re-stapled it on. So it had nails in the corners, but they were all broken and I couldn't pull them out. I didn't want to break it, so I just figured run a couple of staples through the edge and it should hold it in place. So this foam has a cutout in the bottom, not sure why it's got that big cutout there, and then this one is to fit around that light box. But it had these two other pieces kind of stacked like this, so we'll put those back first, and then we're going to try and slip the other foam over top of the whole thing. So that fit back on there pretty nice. If you're doing a seat cover, you're going to want to get a good staple gun. Pretty cheap. Pick it up at Canadian Tire, wherever your local parts store is. We're going to put a couple staples in the foam holding it to the wood before we put the cover on, just to try and keep it in place a little bit so it doesn't slide around on us. So we've got the cover stretched on. I haven't put any staples in the cover yet. What you want to do when you're pulling these on is you want to make sure you get your seams lined up. So you want to try and get the front seam and the front corners as best to the front as you can. And then when you pull it back, try and pull it evenly and make sure that you stretch it out and try and get rid of any wrinkles. I don't know if it's the cover or if it's not, I don't quite have the right shape foam or what's going on, but I got a bit of a poof here. Not too sure how we're going to take care of that, but we'll try and pull that out. So again, try to get this corner to line up as best I could. It's not the prettiest, but as I go, when I start stapling at the front, I'm going to work towards the back and keep pulling the slack back here. And hopefully I can try and get this, maybe this seam a little further down. Saved you some pain there and cut out myself stapling a whole bunch of staples there, because you know that's prime TV, that's quality stuff right there. But we're here on the corner now at the back. This side's not looking too bad. There's still a bit of a poof, but I think we can deal with that after. That one's nice. This one needs a bit of work. Oh. The cover, I don't know if it's the cut or if it's my foam or what it is, but it doesn't exactly fit 100%. But that's okay. A lot better than duct tape. Try and get this all nailed down nice. Now around the light, we haven't cut that out yet. I'm not going to pull this super tight. I'm just going to pull it tight enough that I can cut the hole and then stretch the seat skin inside of the plastic. Kind of just like how it was before. I see why the previous person stapled it all on there. These covers too, when they get out in the sun and the heat, or you put a heat gun on them, they'll stretch a little bit and some of the wrinkles will come out. So you don't have to worry too much about every little wrinkle. It's not looking too bad. Let's see if this will go. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is a nice seat. So I got the new skin stretched on there. Turned out pretty good. Still a little bit of a poof in here, but I think that's gonna be okay. I can live with this. It's gonna look real nice when we get her put on there. Next step is I'm gonna take an X-Acto and I'm gonna cut through the center and I'm gonna try and roll the seat skin inside and then staple it down to the edge. Try and show you guys what I'm doing here. So if you push on it, I don't know if you can see on camera, but you can see the outline of where that light bucket is. So the center is somewhere here. I'm just gonna go for it. I don't want to get too close to the edge because I want to still be able to have enough to wrap it inside. Be careful when using knives, kids. I know you just watched me cut towards my thumb and cringed, but everything worked out, didn't it? Put that away. So like I said, we're just going to try and roll this in. Oh, perfect. Let's try and do the top now. Oh, didn't quite go in, but it's close. Let's see if we can get another one here. That one went. Not so much on that guy. So these are just like regular construction staples, or like a T50 or something. Oh. Try and pull some of these out after too. I'm not going to leave them, don't worry. Yeah, pull out some of these ugly ones, but I think this might be enough to hold, and it's going to look good. And you're going to want to use lots of staples because it doesn't take much, and you can rip these out, or it'll just rip through the fabric. So kind of the more the merrier. But I like that. So not too bad. Just got to trim it a little bit so I can get the screws in and pull out some of these staples that didn't go all the way into the plastic. So I got it all stapled back up. I'm happy with that. I checked, the light base fits in there, but before we put the light base on, we have to bolt this to the Elan because you have to reach in through here to do up the seat bolts on the back. If I can do this, you guys can do this. With a staple gun, bit of patience, look what you can get. Pretty not bad, huh? Pretty not bad. Tucked in real well behind the light too. Pretty happy with it. So if your seat needs repair and you're thinking about just duct taping it, please don't. Just buy one of these covers. They're pretty cheap, and a little bit of time goes a long way, and next thing you know, brand new sled, one piece at a time.